Welcome everyone, and look at that, we are live on IG. Thank you Instagram for fixing that issue, and we're back on there. I missed not being on there. I think aliens took Michelle. She disappeared.
I'm here.
She is currently
the vape rapture, the FD vape rapture.
Hey, well, you know the aliens, if they're going to go after anybody first, it's going to be Floridans. So, you know, got to start in Florida.
Man, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's a free state of Florida, okay?
Yeah.
We live amongst, you know, really weird things, alligators, bears.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, people like, you know, Congressman Gates.
You know what, Greg, probably, don't you think that'd be a good poll question on Twitter? If aliens did come, which state would they start with first? That would be an interesting poll to do, just to see.
Yeah, we start with like Alabama.
I got a better idea. If aliens showed up, how quickly would they leave?
They leave, yeah. Like,
I want to park over Washington, D.C. for a while.
Yeah.
Gonna start picking them all up.
That scared the crap out of everybody. It's like, wait a second, aliens have already landed here. What?
Well, I like the way that Bill Hicks thinks about it, because he's like, you know, you're like, whenever you hear about alien stories, he's like, you know, there's some podunk town that they always show up in. He's like, so you want to go to New York City? You know, we're gonna go sit there and wheedle something in there and whatnot. Like, you know, it's like they're redneck aliens. I mean,
what was it they filmed Deliverance? They said to some alien, "You sure got a purty mouth."
I think the podunk town is like a blessing and a curse, right? So the podunk town that the aliens show up in and abduct you is also the same podunk town where somebody wins like 75 million in the lottery.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And then ends up dead, you know, a couple of years later because they told everybody about it.
Blew it all on a mansion and a Ferrari and their new entourage.
Well, we are back, everybody. All right, we are back, and today's we got Mr. Greg Troutman with us. Welcome back, Mr. Greg. Yeah, bro. I got a button for it now. Oh.
It's been a minute.
And we're going to
microwave.
USPS blocks major vape distributor over under-regulated product shipments, and we're going to go into that. Tim, I think I put that in the private chat, so we get
say something about that too, guys. At THR.
Yeah, we're going to do that too as well. We are going to really quickly check on Tim's and everybody's week, and like I said, very quickly, guys. I don't want to waste too much time on this because our show's only an hour long. So very quickly, how's your week going, Tim?
Fantastic. New neighbors in the neighborhood, new kids already a problem. Thank you very much. Other than that, it's been a regular week.
New kids on the block.
It didn't take but 48 hours, and I'm already onto them. So.
You're already on the hit list.
Yeah.
Mr. Troutman, how's your week going, buddy?
This week's been the longest year of my life. I can't recall in the entire time I've been doing this that I have been as busy as I have this year.
Really?
I've got stuff that's only thing I've worked on for about the last 2 months or mostly is deadline stuff that's got pending deadlines. And the non-deadline stuff is having to get pushed onto a list and get to it when I can.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird because we've been talking the last couple of weeks, on the show that it's been very quiet. So, I assume there was some shady shit going on behind closed doors, and now we know. So,
well, quiet. It's been quiet for you all. It's not been quiet for me. And there
Right,
is
right.
going on behind the scenes with the vaping industry and some of these court fights. Now that we've got Triton and Reynolds behind us, we have a lot more clarity now of what our way forward is.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was actually, I don't know if you know this or not, and we'll talk about it. Let everybody finish their week.
Yeah,
But
Lindsey.
I definitely want to tell you all about the decision that came out a week ago Friday out of the Northern District of Texas on jury trials.
Okay.
Yes, I want to know.
Perfect. Miss Lindsey.
Hey, party people. Great week. I went to the beach yesterday. THR 101s trudging through the bunch of a boatload of content. So make sure if you check that out, THR 101/blog. It's got analysis, commentary, opinion. Fingers crossed on this op-ed that is going out. And I really am kind of a see you next Tuesday to the FDA in it and everything. But it's about two of my passion projects. So things are going okay. Can't complain.
And you can see the website down there on the bottom on the ticker.
Yeah, well, you got the United States one. It's just thr101.org. We have all the state profiles. Those have been done since the 24th. They should have an update on them in the next few weeks, actually. And I should have a coloring book at some point with my brother. I'm waiting on.
I promise to stay inside the lines, Lindsey. I promise to stay inside the lines.
I'm still waiting for federal tax status.
We give you a form and you make it child appealing.
No, we're just making it stupid. I mean, I don't want to. I've been saying for years to these idiot lawmakers that I should have been writing it in coloring books, and they probably they actually read it.
I gotta turn my fan on.
It just has like the bullet points that the report and everything. And I actually did I was actually talking with Michelle on the phone the other night about it and like pricing out how much it would be to actually like send it to lawmakers with crayons and everything,
I think it's great. I think
half of them would like it. I think half of them would be really pissed off. But I'd get a very big job. Be like, yes, we're the ones who sent you the coloring books. We had to give you something to do when you were in committee and not listening to us.
Yeah. Michelle, how did your week go, Michelle?
It's great.
Good. Excellent. Mr. Tim, you know what time it is, Timmy.
I do.
Do your thing.
I do. Yeah. So when I saw the little kids down at the pool the other day, they were playing a game called Prisoner. And so they decided that they wanted to use their key fob to go in and out of the gate, like 3,000 freaking times while they played Prisoner. That doesn't account for all the button pushes on the inside of the pool to open the gate, minus the fob. But I got on the camera and I said, "Hey, everybody! It's the edition of the Wednesday Night Live Show, the Kids Playing Prisoner edition of the Wednesday Night Live Show. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got shocked and in awe." Microwave left you on 1 second oven. He's like, "Wait,
yes, sir.
I'm first. You are first, sir. You are first." And they're slowly rolling in behind you. We got Vincenzo. It's in there.
My cousin.
Vincenzo,
that's my cousin from Sicily, man.
From Sicily.
That's right. He's watching the show.
Right.
Yeah, we got Jeffrey. I don't own a bear. Zamora in the house.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Zamora. Good to see you, sir. Welcome back to the show. We got Steve Emoji King Tottenham coming in perfect form with the emojis.
Yeah.
All the props to you, good sir. We got 9 in the chat right now, so they'll trickle in. They'll
come on.
I lost Steve yesterday, man. That's the one thing about getting old and everything, all the people who start dying.
Speak for yourself when you say getting old.
Yeah. None of us here are old. Hold on,
y'all. I've been working. I got like 20 years food and beverage, and I started I worked at everything from country clubs to dive bars and stuff. And since 2012, I've had other people coming and messaging me on Facebook telling me that somebody, always a dude, has died and everything. I was just like, man, this is getting this is a habit that's that I'm not appreciating right now at all. That kind of stuff.
Mr. Troutman, you said you went to your 40th. I think we're the same age.
I'm 58.
Yeah, okay, 57. So yeah. When you say your 40th, I said, wait a minute, I just had my 40th. High school people, high school.
Class of 85, Louisville Male High School.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hairspray.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask me.
Do you want to disclose the high school mascot?
Bulldog.
The Bulldogs. Oh, Patriots. The Patriots.
Yeah, this school has the distinction. It's the oldest high school west of the Allegheny Mountains, and it's been around since before the Civil War.
Oh, damn.
Oh, cool.
Damn,
Cool.
That's an alum. That's a huge alum.
Let's say been around since before the country.
Justice Brandeis was a alum.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Wow.
Pretty much anybody and everybody from back in the day who was anything in Louisville went to school there.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine. He's 60. I think Bruce is 62 or 63, and he went to high school here in California. And what they did is high school's been around for a long time. Instead of having just one reunion for that class, they brought everybody back. Like the first, as many as there were alive still from the first generation, and they had just one big, high school reunion for all the classes that graduated since the school's existence. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
One more, John.
One of our most famous graduates, Hunter S. Thompson.
Corporate salute. Jason is in the house as well.
Jason.
Good to see you, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Mr. Troutman, tell us what's been going on with you.
Oh, boy. Well, the vaping stuff is not going away and is not slowing down. As everybody knows, we got the ruling in Triton back in April and the ruling from R.J. Reynolds in June. And so FDA does not want to take a second loss in the Fifth Circuit. And so they are putting Reynolds, they put the Triton products, and they put all of the products from the 6 companies in the SWT Global case back into review. So those cases are all held in abeyance because they don't want to take a second loss in the Fifth Circuit.
No, yeah, exactly.
So I now have the lead case in the Fifth Circuit.
Nice, Mr. Troutman.
Good.
And then there was a case that was decided last year by the Supreme Court that SEC versus Jarkessi that says you have a right to a jury trial in a monetary penalty case if the right to a jury trial in that kind of a case existed at common law. We have the same issue with civil monetary penalties that FDA has been doling out. That's their biggest enforcement tool. Well, there was a decision for the Northern District of Texas, August 1st, that ruled that is unconstitutional, that you have a right to a jury trial in a civil monetary penalty case. So that kneecaps FDA. I also have a case pending in the Fifth Circuit that's in the process of briefing. My brief's already been filed that on the same issue, and the judge in the district court parroted the exact same arguments I've made. So it looks like I might win that and take away one of FDA's biggest enforcement tools.
Nice.
Good.
Nice. See, Troutman's been busy. He's been busy.
I've been busy. I also have a case there for Four Seasons and for their menthol products. And Four Seasons has probably the best branding of any product I've seen. It's very clean. And FDA says it's child appealing.
Yeah.
I want to see them make that argument in before the panel of judges because I think they'll get laughed out of court.
Yeah.
And FDA, even with the change of administration, the change of mindset, despite everything RFK has said, Marty McCary is not changing the mindset of that agency.
Right.
And they are relying still on 2021 numbers. They're citing the 2021 NYTS and the youth vaping epidemic as if it still existed.
Well, the 2021 it was down actually. I mean they're using 2019 numbers?
Well, but
the 2021 one, I mean that's the one that they gave us data about reasons why kids were vaping.
I get that, but
13.2% cited.
but compared to current data,
right?
Okay, it still has shock appeal, and they're still relying on old stale data. And I said in a reply brief I filed in one of the federal appeals here a couple weeks ago, is that we're in 2025. FDA and its policies are still stuck in 2021, and it refuses to budge.
Yes.
Right.
Well, you also the whole federal administration too. I mean, I saw the McCary freaking sat there and like applauded Florida and the 708 or whatever the hell it is or whatnot. I mean, this alarmism going on kratom. I mean, first of all, lawmakers are already confused when it comes to e-cigarettes, nip pouches, heat not burn. They're totally confused when it comes to CBD and recreational marijuana.
Right.
Adding kratom to it and stuff, and it's just like, I mean. Meanwhile, I mean, people are like 200 people are over to it, like 260 plus people die every day from a freaking drug overdose.
Yeah. Well, and next year will be very interesting in the legislative session because, we did get. I know we had some registry laws passed this year, but on the whole, I think the industry did pretty well in state legislatures this year because we avoided in Montana. I think the lawsuit that was filed out there sort of put everybody back on their heels, and getting that Tennessee legislation passed there and in the Dakotas and then in Texas was major. The anti-China language added for the e-liquid for the juice was important, and I think that is something that's going to be argued in the legislatures across the country, especially in the red states next year.
Yeah. You brought up something that I would have been interested in talking about on a next show, probably next show or a show down the road, but the child labels and how the vaping industry can go about labeling their products, but still having some sort of not, I don't want to say edge, but a differentiation between different products, different companies. Yes, everybody has a Fruit Loops flavor, but how do I know this Fruit Loop flavor belongs to this company, or that company? So I'm just wondering how
counterfeits. You mean? I mean, I think it's impossible. I mean, I'll answer for him, but I mean, I think it's almost impossible to get. I mean, remember the whole Juul stuff? I mean, it was an Eon Smoke.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting at. Are we gonna just see a white label that just says, Apple, and no picture of an apple, no nothing, just
Well, actually,
you'll have some constitutional issues with that because there are First Amendment issues. But if you think about it, Jules Packaging and Jules Branding was very, very nondescript. Very clean.
Well, they compared to they followed the Marlboro playbook.
I actually have their new one right here in front of me, and that's it. That is their device packaging, and this is their pod packaging. And I mean, how is this anyway child appealing? I mean, that's where I'm getting at. Is this what we're going to see? Are we just going to see a white box that says the company's name on it and maybe somewhat of a description of flavors that are going to be in it? Or how are we going to differentiate?
Do you think this is child appealing?
Yeah.
I mean, I do think personally pod juice can change up the text. Okay, I think that's a little bit cartoonish, but I don't think that's a little bit any flavor descriptor on any other. I mean, I've seen alcoholic beverages that have way more. Boom! Check me out. Look at all these flavors.
Well, okay. One way to avoid it. Use your head. Be smart. Don't call it Apple Jacks or Fruit Loops. Don't use
exactly.
it. Don't call it Skittles with a Z. There's things I've seen in the last decade that were just so obviously stupid.
I'm sorry, Greg. You get that, Greg. You get that clap right there for the Z one. That was great.
I'm gonna start calling
the Z.
You've seen that, Brandy. Steal someone else's brandy. And I had this very same thing happen to someone who I met in Ireland at a show in Dublin, and he had a great product. It was a sour apple, and it was called Jolly Dripper, and it used the exact same font stylistic as Jolly Rancher. And I told the guy, it's just a matter of time till you get a cease and desist. And sure enough, about 6 weeks later, Hershey owns the trademark for Jolly Rancher.
Hey,
yeah, they weren't real happy.
I gotta interrupt you on that one because that's actually that dank vape stuff. Like I knew this guy back in like February of 2019. He comes back with all of these cartridges, right? And they had Skittles with the Z. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is these THC ones. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think these are legit. And this is Illinois. And they're like, they're from Cali. They're from Cali. And I'm like, yeah, you know, they're already going after flavored nicotine. I don't see them like doing flavors and THC legally at all. And also, I don't see Skittles being okay with you doing this. You know, they already get enough crap for like, you know, being too much sugar or, you know, red dye number 4 or whatever and everything. So, and that's when you kind of knew that these were, yeah, these are not legitimate products. I mean, because they'd be getting, if they were big enough, they'd be getting cease and desist from the companies that those are branded. They're copyrighted.
Well, and another point, if the products are sold at adult-only stores, then why does the labeling matter?
Right, exactly.
I don't think so.
Well, and with the court case though in Texas, when I did the research on it, that's what actually really bothered me. They got fined $20,000 because they were bottling up e-liquids. And I actually saw some of the pictures of it. There wasn't any, you know, they were making the e-liquid in front of their customers, and there was reviews about this and everything. And like the whole outside of the shop too, it looked like a cannabis place. It was just kind of insane. It's like, you're going after this like place, even though you've got a retailer who just sold like cigarettes, Newports.
Yeah. Yep.
Just BS, quite honestly.
Yeah,
so.
No. I mean, I have a few here in front of me. I got Sad Boys. I mean, this is their packaging, you know, and it just says, you know, mango blood. I think it says here. Yeah,
Have you ever seen that commercial? For the Bud Light, the seltzer, whatever, the Bud Light seltzer. It's got Guy Fieri. It came out during the Super Bowl, and it's like, you know, they go to the land of loud flavors, and it looks like a freaking Technicolor like acid trip. Okay? I mean, it's like, who's really targeting children? And also, I mean, like, alcohol gets away with that when alcohol is allowed to have commercials.
Oh yeah, big time. You know? You should see the ads out here for Corona beer in California. They're you know, they are 21, you know, 21, 22 on skateboards riding around at the skate park drinking beers. I'm like, whoa, time out here. Since when is this okay here to have 21-year-olds drinking Corona Light, whatever it is, while they're on their skateboards riding to the skate park? And I'm like, how's this okay? But you know,
actually, speaking of that, because we do have an expert here, because you're in Kentucky, there's been a lot of news about how the bourbon and the whiskey industry's been like a boom and bust, and you know, all these people are now filing for bankruptcy. All these distilleries out in Kentucky are.
A lot. Some of it has to do with tariffs because some of the stuff is exported. But you also had some people in this that were small craft distilleries. Yeah. And so they were running on short margins anyway. You know, I represent a distillery. I've done trademark work for them. And one of my clients, who some of you all know, is part owner of it. And they've got some really top stuff. Actually, I saw some of it on a shelf at a place I was at the after party for my reunion a few weeks ago. And I asked the guy behind the bar how much of it was for a glass, and it was $40 a pour. And I'm like, no, that's
$40 a pour.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Is that Craig? Is that Craig? No, it's not Craig. It's not Craig.
I sampled it before it hit the market. It's 94 proof honey cask bourbon, Kentucky Nectar.
Ooh.
It's good.
Not bad.
I don't think I know. Oh, hell no. That's a little bit too pricey for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not like I said, if it's Craig, okay, that's different. You know?
Something, you know, like if I'm going to
Tim, you got a question for Greg? I know it's been a while since you've seen him.
No, well, I think last time I saw him was last time all of you all saw him. Well, other than maybe Lindsey. Lindsey speaks to everybody quite often. No, it's
Greg's
great.
Awesome. He's helped me a lot behind the scenes with some stuff.
So Greg, would you say overall, with what's going on in the back end of things with all of these cases that are coming up, does it look like it's trending more towards a positive traction, or just more kind of holding back the proverbial wall from them moving forward with other regulation?
No, I think that we're in a good position right now because, especially with the Reynolds case, pretty much now any new MDO is going to get filed in the Fifth Circuit. We're going to find a way to team up with a Texas, Mississippi, or Louisiana party that gets us in the Fifth Circuit, which is where the FDA does not want to be.
Right.
So, the Triton decision is not all bad. All Triton said is the fair notice argument that we made was not valid, and they addressed in actually the amicus brief that I filed for the industry actually got cited in the majority opinion in a footnote, which I thought was kind of cool, because Alito, when writing the opinion, noted that the Fifth Circuit had alluded to what FDA had done violated the Tobacco Control Act with regard to imposing an improper product standard that hadn't gone through notice and comment rulemaking. And he said, we're not deciding this issue because this was not an issue that was taken up and we were asked to decide, and only the industry briefed it, FDA didn't, but it said, but, and it gave the caveat, but here's what the law is on this issue. And it's not going to be favorable to FDA going back to the Fifth Circuit. I've got that argument I'm making. And so, if my Fifth Circuit case hits on this was an improper tobacco product standard, then that's going to open the door for everybody to refile PMTAs.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for you, Greg. With the current administration and some of the talks that have been going on in the last couple of weeks with the vaping coming up with Kennedy and a few other members of Trump's cabinet, what are your hopes that they're starting to listen, or is there any hope, or do you see anything coming to fruition from those discussions that they had a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, and let's say, just spitball here, that I get a ruling that says FDA adopted an improper tobacco product standard. It has to go through the formal rulemaking process to do what it wants to do. That's an 18-month to 2-year process. Mm-hmm. Congress is not going to sit back and wait during that period of time. They're going to step in and do something. And so these discussions we're having with the administration are good because the administration will be part of the discussions in Congress if we get there.
Okay.
We want to be in a position where we're forcing the conversation to change and the tone of the conversation to change.
Yeah. Mr. Timmy.
Yes, sir.
Do you have that linky?
I do have that linky. Hold on.
I'm glad we have a lawyer here today for this talk.
All right, bear with me while I present hold on.
You present it. You present the shit out of that article.
Where'd the little there
rock
it is.
It, baby, rock it.
You rock that out.
No, it must have been too confusing of a vocabulary word for them. They have taken present away to now just share screen. Like they should have left it that way originally. Like nobody presents anymore. Hold on. Let's make it a little bigger.
Present your mom for us.
English do, don't they?
Yeah, if
Don't
you guys want to,
things?
if you guys are at all interested in checking your stock numbers, you can look over here to the right. I don't know who this lady is. We're not gonna worry about her. Title of the article: USPS blocks major vape distributor over unregulated product shipments. Reuters. All right, lady, go away. Investing.com. The U.S. Postal Service has barred New York-based Demand Vape from using its business shipping services after receiving evidence the company distributed unregulated cigarettes, letters reviewed by Reuters show. The action deals a blow to a multi-billion-dollar industry that has cut into big tobacco sales. Let's get past all of the blah, blah, blah. The letters, not previously reported, show USPS acted after New York City's law department provided proof that Demand Vape shipments violated laws, including a local flavor ban. The move could benefit tobacco giants such as Altria and British American Tobacco, which have long fought against unregulated vapes, many imported from China. Unregulated vapes lack the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's authorization required for the legal sale in the United States. In a July 15 letter, USPS said it revoked Demand Vape's mailing exception after finding the company shipped products without FDA approval and in violation of the flavor ban. So they were opening their shipments, I take it.
Yep, they were opening.
Mm-hmm.
Your local Buffalo BME office will not accept any packages from Demand Vape that contains ENDS products, the letter read. Demand Vape said it complies with applicable laws and is contesting the decision describing the sector as a regulatory gray zone with few FDA-authorized products. In quotes, we reject any characterization that paints Demand Vape as anything other than a transparent, lawful, and reputable business, it said. Under a 2021 law, the agency is barred from mailing vapes to consumers internationally and in most other cases, with exceptions for compliant business-to-business shipments. USPS has shared with New York City officials a list of other vape companies holding mailing exceptions so they can be reviewed. British American Tobacco estimates the U.S. unauthorized vape market was worth about $6 billion. Is that in lira?
Euros, yeah, euros.
Okay.
Pounds. That's pounds.
Other pounds. Otherwise, 8.05 billion
with a B. With a B.
Yes, in 2023, it is facing increasing pressure from import tariffs, port seizures, and FDA enforcement, including letters sent in May to 24 U.S.-based distributors. Demand Vape, one of the largest U.S. e-cigarette distributors, sells to roughly 5,000 retailers in 49 states. City attorneys told USPS they provided invoices showing sales of products specifically flagged by the FDA as illegal. And that's it.
That is it.
That's your article.
Mr. Greg, your thoughts?
Well, there's a couple things that this article doesn't address that I've got questions about. One, when did Demand Vape get this exemption? And two, were these shipments that are at issue before or after that exemption was granted? Those are things the article doesn't address. The timing of that is important. If they were after that, and I don't know what the terms of the exemption were. The article doesn't address that either.
Yeah.
So, you may have a case with the city of New York and their legal people are tortiously interfering with the legitimate business to Demand Vape.
Right. Now, from what I understand, this article is basically saying it's not going to allow them to ship to an individual buyer, correct? But okay, business to business.
Well,
they could go to a different. They could go to it. The USPS is no longer going to take any of their packages at all. It's pretty much what it is. They can go to one of the private people or whatnot. But yeah, USPS is pretty much just putting a freaking stop on it, and it's a question of now whether other private carriers are going to follow the same thing. And it all has to do with the lawsuit that New York City had pretty much presented. Sitting here saying that we're in violation of local flavor laws. So, I mean, what they could do, though, at this point, too, I mean, let's be real here. There's a crap ton of money in disposable vapes or whatnot. Start your own freaking carrier at this point. I mean, dispensaries do it all the time at this point. I mean, because it's just easier than going through the crap when it goes to. The only problem is you got to make sure with this interstate law and that you're being compliant with it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, if you're starting your own carrier, I mean, that's
not really. I mean, there's especially go to police auctions or whatever, and stuff, and get a bunch of, you can go, bet on freaking, cars that have been confiscated from criminals. I mean, really, just keep it in this whole circle. If you're going to make it this way, fine, we'll go operate this way.
Yeah, it wouldn't take
in its own little confined, economic system, by all means.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to come down to anyway. If they really start cracking down on us, I think that will happen.
Well, I mean, I haven't ordered online in a while. I've been going local to a vape shop, but a lot of those vape shops that I was buying from online, I wasn't even doing the adult signature stuff anymore. They were just sending this stuff in these very nondescript kind of plain packaging, not even, and the from to address didn't come from like any particularly named vape company. It was like something distribution, like 3PL distribution. So basically it was all very nondescript. Now, I'm not saying what they were doing was genuinely probably allowed per se. I'm just saying I noticed that happened with a few of these vape companies. But then I went back to their website the other day because I was like, oh, maybe I'll just order online. Their prices went up exponentially. Like I was buying the Foger refills from them for I think around $13.99. They're now like $20.99. So they went up almost $6.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't even get anything shipped to California. So as soon as I put my zip code in, it says no. So it's absolute no. Lindsay,
I get stuff all the time, but without any issues.
My brother just got back with that coloring book. One of them still kind of messed. It's a little bit wonky, but it looks really awesome. Actually, this is going to be so great.
I promise you, I will not color within the lines. I will not stay within the lines.
I mean, this is for the 2023 numbers or whatnot. So he's got to get it down to a formula because, the plan is to make up for all these states once we get the 2024 numbers out. But I'm obnoxious. Screw it. It's my own organization. I don't care.
Just to consider, what do you all think the numbers for 2024 are going to look like for the NYPS?
Ooh.
2024, we already have those numbers. It's 5.9%. They did not. Apparently, they didn't do the 2020. They quit. They quit doing that, and they scrapped the NYTS like mid collecting data.
Okay, so
they didn't like what they saw.
So exactly.
I'm waiting for the BRFIS numbers to come out. Those should come out in the next few weeks or whatnot with the CDC. That's the annual, behavioral risk factor surveillance ones, but the adult version of the youth risk behavior survey. And they have to come out. They ask so many freaking questions. I mean, they ask way more than just tobacco use, all right? They're asking about cholesterol, dental stuff, women's health, all this stuff. I mean, a lot of freaking pharma companies are relying on this data. But I'm waiting. I've got bets on that one. I think you're going to see it was like 7.78% of adults that were vaping in 2023, which is around the same number of kids that were vaping that year, according to NYPS. I think for 2024 that you're going to see in some states, because even in 2023, you did see double digits. Hawaii, for example, was like 10.1% of adults were vaping. I think you might see about 10% on average.
Well,
especially that's the only thing that would make sense with the explosion of disposables.
Well, and also too, I remember in 2021, it was like an isolated year that they asked a question to the kids, "Why do you vape?" And the surprising number
was in all the years
to stop smoking or in lieu of smoking. And when that number started being pretty high, that question stopped being asked.
Well, they changed the questions around because, they ask that every year. That isn't all the questionnaires. They just don't publish the freaking findings on it because it doesn't fit their narrative.
Doesn't fit their agenda.
One of the biggest ones that was always responded to was others. And then they started breaking up the questions. So that's where you started looking at the mental health stuff. It's like the number one reason why kids were vaping in 2021 was because they were self-medicating feelings of anxiety, depression, and or stress. Oh, the same reasons why adults vape or use tobacco products. Go figure. Ding, 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 ding on that part. And that's when you started seeing the numbers, especially flavors, just drop down when they actually had these ones. To get a buzz off of nicotine was the second most common one. And after that, it was because I was curious about it. And also, they switch up whether among current users and ever users. Ever users, I want to say curiosities, like the number one, are like their friends were doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's because big tobacco hooked me in. I mean, and it's always funny when you see these kids that are testifying, because you never see the kid that's, I'm addicted to nicotine. Like, I got a vape right now. I mean, that's the kid I want to sit there and see. I want to be like, here's the kid that's so addicted and like so freaked out about testifying that they got to take a hit off their vape right there in that hearing.
Yeah. They always just have the valedictorian types that have like a really long letter, never vaped in their life, and they're just concerned about their fellow student, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And
The
they're
compassion.
they're like, it's like, man, I bet you get beat up a lot by kids and stuff because you're constantly in the principal's office narking on people.
Make another point, and it's something that came out last week. There was an article or an opinion piece in the Washington Post about nicotine pouches, and it talked about that, you know, they're complicated. It's a complicated issue, whatever. And there was a response to it by someone from, I think, New Zealand. I heard her speak last year, and she said, no, actually, it isn't complicated. The fact that the Washington Post is giving equal time on this issue is a major step forward for us. What
do you mean? Wait, are you talking about the letter? I mean, one person did an op-ed, the other person did a letter. That's not really equal time. Well, but they gave equal time to both sides of the issue. That a couple years ago they would never have given our side equal time. Well, I wonder how many times they tried to submit an op-ed again. Op-ed. Letter to the editor. There's a big freaking one. There's a whole different word count on them. Okay, op-eds tend to be around 750 words. Letters to the editor, no more than 250 words. Well, whichever one had written the article about that, it was a complicated thing. This was in response to whether it was an op-ed or a letter to the editor, whichever. It was the mirror equivalent of what had been done previously. The fact that the Washington Post published both is, I think, a step forward for us. Yeah. We would not have gotten that a couple years ago. Well, it's because, I mean, honestly, it's because of the way that you're seeing, I think, I know when I had to go against these vape directory bills and stuff, I mean, I got really, pissed with the manufacturers, because it's like, man, you're having me quote campaign for tobacco-free kids in my testimony. There's a major problem here. Like, I completely understand it, though. I mean, there's a catch-22 on this one. These companies spent billions of dollars to have their products become, legally authorized. But I don't agree with them using government to knock out their competition. Sorry, I'm I'm a libertarian. Actually, I'm an anarchist. They just don't let me actually put that as political affiliation when I go to register to vote. But, I would rather see these companies, especially be forcing the FDA to accelerate all PMTAs for all the, harm reduction products, especially heated tobacco coming to America would be a complete freaking game changer. I mean, there's so many people who vaping's just never going to work for them. Well, I honestly think that FDA jumped the shark on the pouches.
I thought it'd be kind of interesting. You go through some of the.
This could probably be a controversial statement, but again, I don't think pouches are going to revolutionize it and accelerate smoking the way that vaping has done it. I think they're really useful for people who are using smokeless tobacco because they are a safer alternative than that, to that and everything. But when it comes, I know everyone goes to the Swedish experience. That is in their culture. Okay. Pouches would be really good for India. That's got a lot of smokeless tobacco use and everything. I mean, that's really what it, in America. Yeah. There's a class of people that will work for, but there's a whole, when it comes to cigarette smokers, people who smoke, I don't really think that it's gonna, I think there'll be more dual users, which is fine. I mean, it means one less cigarette, but still. I think heated tobacco is going to be. If you remember back to RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearing, he was sitting there popping out patches during the confirmation hearing. Well, those aren't authorized. Yeah. That's a flex. I mean, I was at Champs when that happened, and they're sort of like, whoa, this is different. Well, yeah,
I wanted to pull some comments from that article that you were talking about. Hold on, Lindsay. Hold on, Lindsay. Let me. I don't want to mute you, but I wanted to pull some comments from that article that Greg was talking about from the Washington Post, because I always like to go through the comments and what people get from the article. So I sometimes I'll read the article and then go straight to the comments to see what people are writing.
Deficits.
Yeah.
I gotta think that's why kids are stupid these days, is because they're not getting enough nicotine. Very controversial statement.
The fact is, whenever I hear someone say, well, the developing human adolescent brain, and my response to them is, well, during World War II, we had a whole generation of soldiers that had developing adolescent brains, and we gave them cigarettes by the carton. They smoked most of their lives. I think they turned into the greatest generation. I think we did pretty darn good.
Well, I agree with that.
I mean, that adolescent brain, I got an ex-husband. He's 10 years older than me. I can tell you his brain's still freaking developing, all right?
But those developing adolescent brains beat the snot out of the Germans and the Japanese, and then turned this country around after the war. And they smoked their entire lives. I think they did pretty well for themselves.
I mean, we put man on a moon, I keep getting that Jeremy Piven like clip where talking about how America was great when they still had smoking on airplanes. Like, back in 1969, you could smoke on an airplane. You know what we did that year too? We put a man on the moon.
And went to Woodstock.
I went to Woodstock, yeah.
Okay.
426 of them.
Yeah, there's 426 comments on that article from the Washington Post that you brought up. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of go through those myself, because I like going through those, because I want to see what the people got from the article and how they respond to the article. And I love going to, just like a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Most people go straight to the comments before even seeing the video. Lindsey, you got something you want to share today?
Oh, I mean, I shared it in the chat. I mean, we already talked about everything. So if people want to read, I just do the THR 101 is kind of more of a breakdown for policymakers who need it really, dumbed down in a way that they understand and why that they should care about it. So I do think that the demand vape one, I think it's going to really have a lot of ripple effects. I mean, they were huge. At 5,000 locations over 49 states. And again, we have all the data that, I completely, again, I get it with these companies. I understand. I mean, they're all fighting with each other too, man. I kind of got, I was going through, LinkedIn, and I'm homies with people on either side of these companies. And I was going through some of their marketing for their smokeless, and it's kind of just get the popcorn out, So research is, all the recent content. We've got, a lot of stuff up there. COP11 is happening in November, so keeping some of these delegates on their toes and everything. Then if a study comes out, we'll have an analysis on that. We'll see when, state season, starts back up again. I'll do testimony that'll be presented formally to those lovely lawmakers. But then I'll have a 4-minute, write up of what the bill does, something that they can. I actually went through and changed it up, so I put bullet points in it because people don't read. Actually, here, how do I share this? Let me forward it to you, John, on Facebook, okay? And
okay, all right.
You share the coloring books real quickly. I'm gonna put it in the Wednesday night group. So I'm gonna try to put them in order.
I want to kick something in here for discussion, because maybe some of the listeners or viewers might have their own opinions about this. Interesting thing, a phenomenon I've noticed, and just talking to folks or retailers from around the country, that the juice sales for open system juices have just exploded over the last few months because disposable is harder to get. But also, too, a lot of the foreign-owned smoke shops are either closing or being put up for sale.
Good.
Oh yeah, that's what I wrote about that too. The op-ed death of a vape shop, and that came from I'm not gonna sit here and say his name because he's kind of he doesn't really want any. He's pretty pissed off at the industry and everything. Let's just say he doesn't own the vape shop anymore. And he put all of his life savings into it. So like a couple of weeks ago when I was on the phone with him, I kind of wrote it down, you know, Willie Loman, death of a salesman, death of the American vape shop. And it sucks because, like, I mean, it was the vape shop that really kind of led the innovation of e-cigarettes. And now, like Willie Loman, they're getting completely left behind on it. And it's really hard sometimes to like figure out what side of the aisle people are on. Actually, now these days, I'm here for harm reduction. I'm also here for
what I'm trying to figure out is why it's happening. Is it because these stores are not able to get disposables and their inventory is running low? Is it that the state excise people are coming after them? What's causing this to happen? I'm kind of interested in finding out why.
Yeah.
Go to hang out with some vape shops. Spend a day hanging out in vape shops and ask the people.
These aren't vape shops. These are smoke shops. And these are the foreign-owned ones. And you always know where they are because they're lit up with enough LED lights to light up a Christmas tree.
Yeah. I know the ones you're talking about.
And
I know the Durka ones. I'm not supposed to sit there and call them that.
I'm curious as to why these places are either closing suddenly or they're offering. These are the ones that people that were going around buying vape shops 5 years ago, and now they're closing.
There's over 300 retailers so far that have gotten hit with a CMP for selling unauthorized vapes. Those are brick and mortar retailers, okay? So kind of like the Texas Vape Shop or whatever, that just won that circuit case and everything. So that could be some of them too, actually. That's why they're shutting down, because they're not fighting it.
Well, but a lot of what they do, from what I've heard, is that they'll keep it in one name for a year, and they'll put it in the name of another through LLC of some relative, of some cousin or niece or uncle or whatever, and they just rotate.
That's totally smart to do. You get that's a whole new business now, and you get a lot of freaking breaks on that one. Rich people do it all the time, and I'm okay with that. That's the American way, getting through the court, all the IRS loopholes.
Right, but if they're not paying taxes, I got a problem with that. And if they're not paying the excise taxes, and I think that's part of what it is they have not paid excise taxes, because a lot of these were cash businesses, mainly cash businesses, and they, there's not financial transparency, and they didn't have. We're being honest with the tax people, is my view, and that's part of why some of them are probably leaving the market.
See, that's why I don't like drug dealers, because they don't pay taxes.
Shit. What do you mean they don't pay taxes?
You ought to pay taxes, especially, man. You're peddling stuff that, uses civic stuff that costs taxpayer money, like ambulances and everything. Sorry. And you're selling that product, yeah. All right, John, you can share those. They're going to be.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. All right, I'm just waiting for you guys to finish talking there. There you go.
There you go. We got to start from the beginning.
That's how it lined them up. So I don't.
Oh, that's how it lined them up?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they come over like in that particular order.
Okay, well, go through them. I'll tell you which one's the beginning. Move forward.
Is that the beginning one?
Nope, beginning.
Yeah, that's the first one I had.
Form. That's the beginning. There's the cover page.
I love it.
What's there and say Policy Maker's Guidebook to Tobacco Harm Reduction. We've used that line before. Okay, the first page that's going to come up is going to be the smoking numbers. That's the last page.
That's the last page.
That was number 2 for me. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I should have just went and did it. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's the one that's got all the people smoking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like two women, 2 men smoking.
Oh, I didn't get that one. What the hell? I got
you
one.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there more than 5?
I got a bunch. I got a bunch of them. Hold on.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
1, 2, there's 7 of them in the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what she meant was number 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't give it to me in that order for some reason.
So in 2023, 31.7 million adults, 12.1% were smoking. This is an 11.5% decrease since 2022. There were 3.9 million fewer adults smoking. Among smoking adults, 6.9% were 18 to 24 years old, 46.5 were 25 to 44 years old, 25.1% were 45 to 64 years old, and 21.5% were 65 plus. The lady on the left, I think she falls into the 45 to 64-year-old category.
Hey, it's checked. Well, my brother designed it, so
I'm coloring dude number 2's beard gray, but with darker brown hair. He looks like
he
Sean
needs to get
Connery
some
type.
ethnic people in there too. As I'm looking through it, so it's not there again. They're not 100% done right now, but it's not looking too bad. So then the next one's going to be the vapors.
Okay, in 2023. 20.3 million adults, 7.79% were vaping. This is a 0.4% increase since 2022. There were 2.9 million adults vaping. Additional adults vaping. Sorry, apologies. I left out a word there. Among vaping adults, 30.4% were 18 to 24 years old, 49.2 were 25 to 44 years old, and 16.8 were 45 to 64 years old, and 3.6 were 65 plus. I want to make note that that the lady on the lower left-hand corner is that's the chick from Scooby-Doo as an old lady. What was her name? Velma. Velma was that her name? Velma.
Hey, quit picking on the old ladies, okay?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, we've all gotten older over that same time frame. So, like, they were young.
The guy in the top center is probably over 45 too, because he's got a receding hairline.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
My ex-boyfriend had a receding hairline in his like teens. All right. So.
Yeah, but he looks older.
We'll just call him Mr. Dual Use.
He's got wrinkles too, so
yeah.
Mr. Dual Use. And again, I've seen some. Again, I'm in Florida. Come on, in the show, we're both in Florida.
Hey, Lindsey, this is really good, but I hate to tell you, it's going to be over the head of some people like Jasmine Crockett and AOC.
Well, I already know that. I mean, this is kind of designed for more state lawmakers, and I already know what's going to happen. The Democrats are going to be like running it with it to CTFK and being like, "Look what they sent me! Look what they sent me!" The Republicans are going to laugh about it and everything. I just want to see some of these people that are actually sitting there, and I'm gonna have to watch all these committee hearings and see if these guys are actually coloring.
Well, I was gonna say, like, when you watch when you watch all the congressional stuff on television, it's like they're all sitting there in their chairs, flipping around on their phones, doing other shit anyway, not listening to anybody. If this was in front of them, they're looking for something else to do. They're going to get an education and they can color at the same time.
Yes, exactly. They might have to pay attention to these freaking numbers, all right?
I'm going to take issue with you saying that, the Republicans will be laughing. Actually, some of these registry bills, like here in Kentucky and Montana, it was Republicans that were leading the charge on it.
Oh, yeah, no, I told some of those people. I told a lot of the people, too.
In Tennessee, it wasn't until we got to the Democrats that, and we took it to the Republicans and, shamed them, that really things started to change for us. So the Republicans are not the lily white folks that are the white knight saviors.
You actually even have conservative think tanks that were in favor of this, and I kind of yelled behind the scenes at some people because I was just like, that's like completely against your mission statement, homie. And everything, using government and also like kudos to you guys on being able to convince Republican conservative hardliners to sit there and use state funding to enforce federal regulations, because that's essentially what it was. God, man, there's a lot of short memories in the tobacco harm reduction space.
And actually, when I met with one of the key Democratic leaders, it was an older African-American lady in Tennessee, and her staffer actually was probably one of the most knowledgeable staffers I've ever seen in any legislative body about the vape products. A young guy, real intelligent guy, real bright guy. And he flat out said, the reason why the Democrats support the registry bill is because of the disposables that happened because of the FDA's 2020 flavor policy. Well, I happen to know the inside baseball about how that happened. And I was in her office and sort of read the room when she's got pictures of Obama and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X up on the wall. She's not a Trump fan. And I said, you want to know a dirty little secret about why that policy came about? Barron Trump got caught with a jewel in the White House. And she leaned up in her chair and laughed. And she says, are you serious? And I says, he was about 13 and he got caught with a jewel. Mommy and daddy overreacted, just in this case, ran the bureaucracy. And this policy was the result of that. And it changed her perspective on this. The minute that I said that this was because of something that happened with Trump, she changed her policy. She changed her tune.
Jeffrey gave you some advice there, Lindsay.
I'm seeing it right now. Yeah, actually, I kind of like it. I like because I play this game. Actually, I can, make it like state focused. Like, what's your
crossword? A crossword puzzle with vape words. Yeah.
And then intersplice it with some of the facts, like how many this many people were smoking or whatever, and that stuff that you might need to go through and actually read the whole thing.
That dude looks like Zonker Harris from Doonesbury.
Well, they're gonna read it because they're probably gonna be frustrated they can't fully color the guy's hat.
Yeah.
It'll keep them distracted, right?
Damn it! What are all these words in front of the hat? Oh, really? Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Where's the line start and where's it end?
I've been too busy with Candy Crush to worry about important shit.
There's no captions here. I don't need to read it all. I just want the caption.
Yeah.
They're not even all. They're all the bullet points from the front page of the report or whatever. They're not even all the bullet points. It's like, and then even then we had to change them up because it was just too wordy. And that's the one that needs to be fixed, as you can see.
And then these two dudes.
Yeah, well, that's college graduates. I mean, yeah, and then these guys. He's got to change that one up too. I actually like that one a lot.
The one on the right looks like Jerry Falwell.
Yeah,
the same guy, just on either side. Okay,
he looks like Jerry Falwell. He looks like Jerry Falwell, which is exactly what you want. The image you want is. I thought Jerry Falwell was an absolute fraud and a grifter. And he fits the mold of these lobbyists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, kind of like Slick Rick from friggin' Rhode Island, the American Lung Association guy that we actually made flabbergasted, which is actually really fun. To say the least on that one. Especially he's been doing this for 20 years and he didn't even know what to sit here and say because Lisa Chaloni had pretty much it was me, a state lawmaker, and then Dr. Michael Siegel that we all short of all being on the same panel, but we just schooled the hell out of them actually, and they gave us, we all got more time than the actual 3 minutes. I think I spoke for 6 minutes or something, but that's great. We had
a hearing here a few years ago for that. They were going to do a indoor vaping ban here in Louisville. We had a hearing in the council here. And you had this guy from one of the local colleges got up and he had his students there and he's not even a PhD, he had a master's in something. And he gets up there to testify in his lab coat. And, he's trying to show off. And he gets up there and he spews his spiel. And one of the guys who spoke looks like one of those guys you had a minute ago that looks like the high school dropout. He gets up there, he's a vapor. And he goes, I know this and I don't need a lab coat to tell me that. And the room absolutely exploded laughing. And even some of the legislators, the council members were laughing about this. And they just shut the guy up, and he was pissed.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
We are at that 1 hour mark. I want to thank Mr. Troutman for joining us. Greg, you got any last words, anything you want to throw out there that you want to get out to our viewing audience? Anything coming up?
Keep doing what you're doing. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't think it's a train.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'll have some more info to share with you all in the coming months. It's good news, and I'll be happy to come on and do that for you.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
We'd love
thank
it.
you, Mr. Tim, Lindsay, and Michelle, and everybody out there in the chat world. Thank you for always joining us. We will see everybody next Wednesday. Can't tell you what's going on.
We swear.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. And only because I know Greg's a big college fan. Go Penn State.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm an SEC guy. I'm a Southern guy. I'm SEC.
I know.
Where's
All right,
Penn
everybody.
State in? Mid-Atlantic?
Yeah, I would say one of the Florida states, Greg, but we know what goes on in those Florida colleges, so we're not going to talk about them. Everybody look into the camera and say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.